right, my friends, let's talk about class logistics. When I talk about logistics, I'm talking about all the plurality of little things which make or break a class. Do you have staples? Is there enough seating? What do you do if more people come in? As any instructor knows, doing any kind of class, we all probably have our nightmare stories, all right, of things that just a little stupid thing which went wrong. God, we didn't have a power cord, or the projector went down, what have you. So I know there's a lot to that. I'm going to mainly focus on logistics evolving around just utilizing the CERT pistol. All right, basically mainly on class setup, how it can be handled, the best way of setting up drills, and I'm going to focus logistics heavily around the NRA basic pistol curriculum. But the application can obviously application could obviously be applied to any type of classroom setting. Okay, so first thing, let's talk about sign-in. As I noted in the safety brief, there's two types of protocols with a CERT pistol. One is each person is assigned a CERT when they come into a class. All right, it's almost a checkout process, and this probably coincides with your weapons check, all right, to make sure there's no live weapons in the classroom at the time of the class, all right. If you adopt this model, the challenge, of course, is the scalability of having enough certs for everyone, okay? And if some instructors have 20 certs, and they can do that. They're fine at checking out pistols. Everyone has one. They have a few spares. But also, you'd want to have protocol. Okay, well, I know I got 40 people. I got 30 people coming in. All right, so you want to be well versed in stations and in checkout. But if you do a checkout, what I suggest is taking the cert, and if you look on, I'm turn it like this, without muzzling myself. If you look in the base region here of the cert, you're going to see a serial number. All right, it's exposed. Some of the ones about 2 years ago don't have it right there, but you can obviously mark it with a marking pen. But the serial number is unique. So take the serial number with your sign-in sheet, and as they get the pistol, they get it in their hand, and like, okay, you give them a safety reminder. All right, that look, treat this as a live fire weapon. Treat it, it can go boom. It can't go boom, never has, never will, but you're going to treat it with that respect and dignity that it can. You got that in. You put their serial number with alongside their name on their sign-in sheet, and then you know where it is. So at the end of the day, classes can be so chaotic, right? You're going to the range now, you're doing this, you're bundling up, you're a little bit frazzled, and all of a sudden 2 are missing. It's like, well, what do we do with that, right? So it helps narrow down, okay, who owned it, right? I mean, and of course, if one's missing, you can give that gentle reminder. Hey, Tom, is your cert, you put it in your bag, is it round? We just didn't have it. Oh, yeah, okay, we'll get it back, we're good. So it helps immensely on narrowing things down. So you have the sign-in sheet, an extra spot for the serial number. Now, the second mode of logistics with the CERT is to have a dedicated station. And this is probably the more popular mode because it's scalable. You have people rotate in and out of the station, all right? There's a few ways of carrying this out. First off, if you treat your classroom where you have a designated range area, so to speak. So if there's an exterior wall, I usually like to use an exterior wall because using a shooting rule of beware your target and what's behind it, it makes more sense to shoot a CERT at an exterior wall. It's the best place. I never do CERT training in my house on interior walls, particularly if my kids' room is behind it or the bathroom or what have you. All right. Now, that area, there's two places to generally, for example, put sort of a mini dry fire CERT range in your classroom. One area is if you have, say, your classic classroom, you have your tables, your seats, and you stand in front with your projector and your PowerPoint, you can make those front 2 tables the firing range, all right? You can either have the CERT sitting on that front table or have a separate table right in front of that if you have the real estate. It is more desirable to have the separate table in front because then that's in parallel with you, in parallel with your PowerPoint, your computer, and all your equipment and where you're comfortable of standing, all right? That way, when you engage the drill, as we talk about with the grip, the sight alignment, and all that, People come up, they can get in their positions. The table is sort of a natural 180 rule, so that they start to understand range protocol, like what a range is like, and they're starting to get that glide path of feeling more comfortable with what a range will be like, since they're probably newcomers in your class. And then they come back to their seats and they rotate around. One suggestion on that is to have a liberal amount of space between your dry fire range tables and that first set of desks. You pick them up, handle them. You explain this is like a live fire range, so you use a 180 rule, keep it downrange, and handle it as such. All right. Another option for setup, which works fairly well, is parallel to the class. So you have, say, your desks, your table is probably like the standard, 4x8 tables, back, chairs, you're in front, and then people go lateral to a range off to the side. Now, it depends on the classroom setup, but this works pretty well. If you don't issue holsters and such, and most people probably don't, just be thinking of a place to put the certs on, all right? I know it's a dumb detail, but where do they actually physically sit in that range? Make it easy on yourself. Budget in for those extra tables, all right? So those tables can be sitting right to the side of the main classroom, right? Probably facing, say, next to your wall, all right? And that's where you engage a lot of the hands-on drills. If you don't have tables, chairs work in a pinch. All right, chairs turn 90 degrees, and it's somewhere for them to set it down and what have you. If you don't have any tables, you don't have anything like that, you can do is have them have a table up front. All right, table up front. They grab their cert. All right, they practice safe discipline of muzzle awareness, finger off the trigger. They'll go to a position along your line, all right, where you prescribe. If you put tape down, masking tape, sometimes that works well, right? Or when you put targets on the wall, that naturally spaces them out, right? I'll talk about in a second. And then if you're rotating through with other people, they are done their drill. Okay, we did the grip drill, the side alignment drill. They will take the cert, hand it to the other person. They keep it downrange, and they commence the drill. All right. I kind of like that protocol when they do have to go to a table, a designated table, because they're learning muzzle awareness and trigger finger discipline. I mean, they're really because someone's gonna screw that up, and you can watch for that. And when they screw it up, you call them out, as I talked about in the safety brief, the safety protocol. Another element of logistics is what targets should I use or can I use? Of course, right now, per NRA current rules, humanoid, human shape, human face targets are not allowed. But moreover, the bigger question is what's easy to put up, what's convenient, what's accessible, and what have you. I'll tell you, a lot of times I get in a pinch, and sometimes I forget, and I don't have tape and things like that, and I use stickies. I'll have little sticky notes. The bigger ones work pretty well. They stick anywhere, and you can line those puppies up just right along a line, and it works. It's quick, easy, it's set up, it's low expense. They're a little bit small. But for in the classroom, you can adjust the distance to go from more natural aiming area to more sights and adjust that firing line. So that's an easy way. Another fun target is the, I don't know what we call them, but these little styrofoam cup bowls. I mean, for some reason, and these are just the standard, nothing special. I suppose we could sell them at NLT, Next Level Training, but I mean, you could probably find them like nearly anywhere with the lids. They're a little bit of bugger to tape on the wall. You just got to budget. I mean, it's not that much time, but maybe 20 minutes for some duct tape and sticking them on the wall without tearing up the paint or what have you. But what's nice about these, as you can see, is they illuminate. They really glow when they get hit. When they get pinged, it gives us kind of a illumination type effect. So it's kind of nice. I'll throw this in there. If you want to get a little bit more ambitious, you can actually make targets out of reflective material, reflective tape. But honestly, instead of using the reflection as the target, use the reflective tape as the perimeter, the edge. Why would you do this? Well, if you hit in the middle, it's just what it is. You hit it, okay, get confirmation. If you go outside of that target, it shoots it back in your face. pretty violently. Not violently, but it really throws that light back in your face. You know, the cert is with Class 3A lasers. They're considered eye safe because our blink response is quicker than any eye damage, similar to laser pointers and such. But it's a little annoying when it gets thrown back in your face like that. Right? It's I wouldn't call it discomfortable, but it's self-correcting. Like, I don't really want to hit it out there again. I think I like to get within that acceptable accuracy zone if I can. So those are some options with targets and setup. I think the biggest thing is make it simple and easy, fast. You know, there's a lot of variability there. If you do get in a pinch, I mean, 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and tape really work fine. You know, pin them up. And sometimes, honestly, there's enough character in a room, like knots on the wall and such, that can work as a target. Like in our lodge, I mean, sometimes those logs actually work really, really fantastic. So always let your creativity come into the mix to get the job done there.